right?
Hello you lovely lot, it's Gamester here. Yes, I am back with a proper video. Yeah, it's taken a while, hasn't it? I will get some more on the reasons behind that later in the video. But for now, I've been playing this, Industria. This game is brought to you by Head Up Games, the devs behind such games as Tinkertown, Pumpkin Jack, and a wealth of bridge builder games. But now comes this interesting first-person narrative-driven game, Industria, and I've been playing it. Now when you look at the description for this game, it says, embark on a gripping journey in Industria, an atmospheric first-person shooter set in Cold War era East Berlin. Unravel the secrets of a mysterious parallel dimension while searching for a missing colleague. Explore a haunting reality where the truth awaits. Discover the dark past that lies beyond. They always make it so overly dramatic, don't they? In reality, you play as Nora Solheim, searching for her work colleague and, let's not forget, her partner, Walter. While the game does a great job of looking beautiful and having absolutely great combat, it is not without its issues. Across the board via all platforms including Xbox, PlayStation and now PC, it has garnered above average ratings between around 6 out of 10. And I can understand why, but this game is made by a very small indie team and I don't think that the ratings are worthy of being that low if I'm completely 100% fair. So you know how the reviews work. I will give you an overview, then I will give you a brief description of the mechanics including the story, and then I will tell you what they've done greatly and what they've done badly. And like I always say, leaving you with all the information before you start parting with your hard-earned cash. So, as I've said before, why should you listen to me? Well, I've been gaming since I was a child. I'm now in my 40s. Yes, I know. Old age catches up to everyone. And don't get old, it's a trap. So I have a great understanding of what makes games great and what makes them suck. It's also worth mentioning that I will only include gameplay from the first 2 hours of this game, which is nearly half of the game, but more on that later. That means for the most part there are going to be no spoilers. So let's get into the overview. For the story, you start in Nora's apartment with a call from her colleague and partner, Walter. You find out that the huge machine that you've been working on together, Atlas, has gone haywire. So you leave your building, you head down to the street, and at the end of the street is where you work. After some very simple puzzles, you will make your way into the heart of Atlas, the heart of the machine. And this is where you're going to cross over into an alternate dimension. This is also where the game truly starts, with your search for Walter in that alternate dimension. The game takes place in East Berlin, after a war between man and machine has already taken place, and you're tasked with searching through the remnants of what is left. There is one spoiler, the machine's won. So there you go. You're going to be dispatching the occasional robot along the way, and this is done with the aid of the only other voiced NPC in the entire game other than you and Walter. A wheelchair-bound guy called Brent, and you only actually see him once. However, he will talk to you via a radio throughout the story, and these conversations are solely responsible for progressing the said story. After a short while, you will find a pickaxe, and once you do, then you will start to find one of the 6 weapons as you progress, from a standard pistol right the way up to a sniper rifle. As you make your way through Hakavik, you begin to uncover more about the story in the form of lore from collectibles and, of course, talking to Brent. So that's the basic setup, and I wish I could give you more mechanics than that, but there is nothing in the way of upgrading characters, there's nothing in the way of extra little bits. It is simply you going through Hakavik with said weapons and trying to progress the story. So it is a very simple game to understand. So let's get on to the good and the bad. The good points. The puzzles. Normally when you see puzzles in a game, they will either be so simple that it's so easy to do, or they will be so hard that you will be tearing your hair out. Now some people like these hard puzzles to solve. Me personally, when it becomes frustrating, that's when I have a problem. The puzzles you encounter in this game do a great job of not being overly complicated, but also not so easy that the game feels, well, completely useless for having them there. From entering the correct codes to finding areas tucked away in dark corners, this game does a really good job with the puzzles. The visuals. How can we go through this game without talking about the visuals? They are amazing. We currently live in a time where all the games coming out now are using Unreal Engine 5 with ray tracing, and they have become ultra realistic. Industria, however, uses Unreal Engine 4, and it clearly shows the power of the Unreal Engine, because this game looks stunning. Although the levels themselves are quite linear, they are packed with beautiful architecture and lighting that is absolutely brilliant. The design of those levels are also amazingly well put together for such a small development team. You can tell that this was a real passion project for Head Up Games. The gunplay. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this is a small development team. So if you're expecting Battlefield levels or Call of Duty levels of realism gunplay, you're gonna be disappointed. However, the gunplay is well above average, but each one feels different in the way that they handle. The hit detection is also great too, so much so that I know of other shooters with massive dev teams that can't even do the gunplay as well as this. Yes, it's far from perfect, but it is way better than most games nowadays. The atmosphere. The devs have done an absolutely phenomenal job when it comes to conveying an eerie atmosphere in Hakavik. From the dark, boarded up buildings that you are forced to search through with a light in your hand, to the areas outside bathed in sunlight. Hakavik has to be a foreboding place because it's infested with robots. Hakavik is a foreboding place, but it is also stunningly beautiful. Add this to the fact of the monographs that are placed all around the levels that enable you to play records that you found. If you see a monograph that hasn't got a record on it and you have one in your inventory, you can place it on the monograph, click play, and then get some very eerie 1930s music. So let's get on to the bad points. Well, the first one I have to mention, the length. We currently live in a world where most games are quite long, even the indie ones, at least 10 plus hours. Industria, unfortunately, can be completed within 4 to 6, depending on how quick you play and how fast you can solve the puzzles. By the end, I was wanting so much more, and I was thinking, well, that can't be the end, can it? Fortunately, there is a sequel in development. I'll put the trailer on screen for you right now, and judging from that trailer, it seems to have massively improved on the formula, but that is also stated as being a 4 to 6 hour game. So for the price tag of Industria 1, which is $16.99, I have to say I expected more. The lighting. I think that the Unreal Engine is going to be doing most of the heavy lifting for this, but the lighting is phenomenal. However, there are areas, even with your light, that are very hard to navigate. Now you could argue that this is to do with the lighting, but you could also argue that it's to do with the level design. I think it's more to do with the lighting. This is something that could have been overlooked, but hopefully they will rectify it in the new game. And when you run out of battery with your light, that makes the whole situation far worse. This is by design, but I do think it could be dialed back slightly. Dropping frames. At first I thought it was my PC setup that was underpowered, and that is why I was occasionally losing frames, but this is an older game now, so I didn't think that was the problem. I dialed back my settings and occasionally I would still get lag spikes. Although it wasn't common at all, it is still worth mentioning. Even with a top-end PC, it will not run completely smooth. The voice acting. Well, specifically the voice acting for Walter.
We'll just shut it down then.
Impossible. It's spread too far already. But there is something else. People are gathering at the checkpoint Bornholmer Strasse. It's happening. Comrade Schabowski publicly said that the wall is open in a press conference just 1 hour ago.
Wait, what?
They closed down the office. Stasi is already here. They're taking everything apart.
The best acting in the game is from Brent, without a doubt. Nora wasn't too bad either, but Walter, he was overly dramatic and it just felt stale. Now this is something that could have just been overlooked, or they wanted that extra drama in his voice, but unfortunately it just ruins the feel. Fortunately enough, apart from the start and the end of the game, you do not have to listen to him for long. The story. Although I think the story is a really good concept and really well done, I just got the feeling that it was very, very strange in parts. I'm fully aware that you're meant to be struggling to make sense of it all, but at the end of the day, I was just left confused. Between levels, for example, you have these strange dream states where you see a stage show after walking through an office, and Walter will be floating in the air above the stage, and it just left me utterly baffled. Now I know there is likely going to be a hidden meaning behind each of the stage shows, but they are so obscure that I was left scratching my head. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just being stupid for not getting it. But I'm willing to bet that if it confused me, there will be a few people out there that it confuses as well. Now this next point, I didn't want to put it in the good or bad points because it's kind of mixed. It's the inspirations. When you're playing through Industria, it's obvious to see where they got their inspirations from, but I just don't know if they make sense. It's clear to see where the dev team took their inspirations from. Elements like Control, for example, a very bizarre game, but once you actually start to progress through it, it all makes sense. Well, try and take the making sense bit away from it, and that's what you're left with in this. The point is neither good or bad because it could just simply be me. But I just got the feeling that, in this aspect at least, the game didn't really know what it was trying to be. It was like a mismatch of all different elements from different games that just don't really gel and don't really go together. But that is just me. Now it's up to you to have your say. What do you think, you lovely lot? Have you played the game? If so, let me know and have your say in the comments section down below. All in all, I would say that this game is worth way more than what you might see on Metacritic. On Metacritic right now it's got a critic score of 67 and a user rating of 6.3. I would easily put this game at least a 7.5 out of 10. Is it worth $16.99? Probably not, but if you do see this game on sale for under a tenner, I would be definitely suggesting you give it a try. Lastly, I want to give a personal message to those people who've been here a while. If you've been watching my channel, and then you will already know why I have not been here. Running a business is hard, but thank you for staying subscribed. I know my uploads have been few and far between while I've been trying to get this business up off the ground, but I am now making my comeback. I've started streaming a lot more and I am trying to put out more content right here on my YouTube channel. I will be continuing my channel uploads, so fear not. Although the only content you're going to see for the time being is going to be my Beat Saber content, of course, and reviews just like this one. So please bear with me, and if you do like this content, then hit the sub button for more. And until next time, I'm going to bid you all a fond farewell, say thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.